Good morning, and this is Early Mornings LALATE with breaking news. The President of the United States got those stimulus checks to land. Checks are landing. That $1,400 third stimulus check is landing in bank accounts across the country. It landed on Saturday, it landed on Friday, and more are landing this coming Wednesday. These $1,400 third stimulus checks are coming to Americans across the board. All the latest details on where and when they will land. Also breaking news this morning, Wall Street is set to react to those massive job numbers from Friday. For the first time since Friday, Wall Street is back to trading hours, and it will digest those incredible through-the-roof job numbers. Will the 10-year Treasury note go through the roof? Will the stock market crash? Will the bond market surge, or will it go the other direction? And what does that mean for your stimulus? Also, the big news happening today is, of course, forced stimulus. How soon will that forced stimulus get to the finish line? I have all the details about what is in forced stimulus and what is not in forced stimulus. New video from the White House, and the big question that's hitting that people are wondering about, those reoccurring stimulus checks. Of all those details about those reoccurring stimulus checks, and how soon they can hit. Monthly stimulus checks are being urged by Democrats across the board, and there's now a major push to get them to the finish line. But also making news over the weekend was the following. A surprise from the Republicans. Yes, a Republican counteroffer was made to the fourth stimulus package. Does it help you or does it not? I'll have new video from the White House, and I'll be answering all the questions you dropped over the weekend as a big early mornings broadcast gets underway with the toast toasting, the butter buttering. This is Early Mornings LALATE. What a big morning, and away we go into the land of forced stimulus. It's all upon us as we finish up the remaining items of third stimulus over the next few weeks. I'll have all those details and more. I'm really excited for you. Thank you for joining me on a big morning, starting right now, of Mornings LALATE. Did you have a great weekend? The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and congratulations. $1,400 third stimulus checks have landed. They started to land on Friday. I have all the details, but first, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Power, Purple Hawk, or Purple Calcino VIP, the link's at the top of this chat. The president got those $1,400 third stimulus checks out the door. Those $1,400 third stimulus checks have landed. Let me explain when and where. First, on Friday, the U.S. Department of Treasury sent out another wave of $1,400 third stimulus checks. And they landed in some bank accounts on Friday, other on Saturdays. They released the funds upon receipt. Those banks releasing the funds early were the following: Cash App, Chime, Bancorp, H&R Block Green Emerald Card, also TurboTax, Green Dot, California Bank and Trust, and a few small credit unions. By Saturday morning, the IRS tool updated itself. As predicted by the channel, the IRS tool revealed that it had received stimulus checks the night before. And with that IRS tool, it revealed that the deposits are coming this following Wednesday. The IRS tool now reveals pending deposits for millions of viewers of this channel for this coming April 7th. The great news is that the pending deposits include people who are veterans. No, they will not have to wait an extra couple of weeks. I got alerts from viewers that are veterans that have pending deposits for this coming Wednesday, April 7th. If you go to the tool, it will reveal that there's a pending deposit for you, either by direct deposit on April 7th or later in the week, April 9th, by paper check. Meantime, if you're a paper check recipient and haven't got to that March 26th check, don't worry, it's coming. It's a little bit late. That was from wave 2. From wave 3, the April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th checks are still landing. And the news we just learned over the weekend was that the current wave of stimulus checks will be providing April 9th checks by mail later this week. If you went to that IRS tool and it didn't work for you, a new fix-it that has worked for most of the viewers, but not all, was provided by viewer Margie. If you go to the IRS tool and type in your results and don't get any information, then try all caps for the address. Again, use all caps for the address, and it seems to work. Really exciting, great news as that $1,400 third stimulus check has landed across the country for millions of Americans. And the details are still unfolding. I'll have more throughout the day on this channel. But also breaking this morning is, of course, Wall Street's reaction to the great jobs numbers. Those great jobs numbers were released on Friday, and it has everything to do with your stimulus. Why? Because Wall Street was not expecting numbers this high. Those numbers came in at 900,000, nearly 1 million. What does this mean? It means it blew away Wall Street's estimates of about 500,000. This is for the month of March. The month of March, the American economy generated 1 million jobs. 1 million jobs is not what Wall Street expected when there's 8 million missing. Wall Street had thought that the U.S. economy would not be back to normal until next year because it would take 16 months to restore jobs at 300,000 a month. But now we're restoring jobs at 1 million a month? That could mean 8 months until we're back to normal. But a new report released on Friday that Wall Street's going to look at again today is whether this month, the month of April, may see 2 million jobs generated per month. If that's the case, the economy could be back to normal in 4 months, and it means everything when analyzing your fourth stimulus. Wall Street may see today whether or not the bond market will trade through the roof, the 10-year Treasury note, or whether U.S. securities will drop or rise on this surprisingly great news. Ultimately, this big news has everything to deal with you because it impacts your fourth stimulus. Let me go over the details as well, because in the next few days, you're about to see the debut of the fourth stimulus bill. That fourth stimulus bill will not have reoccurring stimulus checks in there. They'll be put in there by a series of Democrats. Over the weekend, they detailed their push again. Those 21 of 50 Democrats are calling for reoccurring stimulus checks. The president may not be asking for it, but they will be asking for it. And how will this work? While the president will be writing the bill, ultimately when the bill lands in the Senate, those 20 of 51 Democrats, who include Elizabeth Warren, will be asking for monthly reoccurring stimulus checks. How much? How often? How does this work? Well, this is what you need to know. These Democrats are moderates. They include Ron Wyden, and they control the legislature enormously as senators. They're 21 of 50. They include Chuck Schumer. How much are we talking about here when we're talking about these monthly stimulus checks, and how would they work? Let's do the analysis right now. If they got the bill out the door and finalized and signed into law in June, that would be June to December, monthly stimulus checks. The Democrats that are part of this alliance all calling for monthly stimulus checks when it starts to become a law until December. They don't say the amount, and they don't say anything else, but insiders believe that the amount will be $2,000 a month, and on the low end, $1,400 a month. Well, if the bill gets out to law in June, that's $12,000 for you. And if the bill gets into law by June and it's $1,400 a month, that's $8,400 for you. This would have the same income qualification as the third stimulus check that's landing in your bank account this week. So it'd be the same thresholds, $75,000 less individual, $150,000 married couple. It would also cover adult dependents is the same amount, children is the same amount. If it sounds like a lot of money to you, don't think it is. Why? Because the President of the United States in recent days has been telling insiders that he wants to give children upwards of $65,000. What? The president is talking to insiders in his cabinet to reportedly extend the child tax credit for 18 years, which would mean if a newborn was just born, they're getting $300 a month for 18 years, which is $65,000. Ultimately, when you look at $65,000 versus $8,000, the reoccurring stimulus checks is a bargain. Now, this is what you need to know, is that those reoccurring stimulus checks would only happen if the bill goes by reconciliation. How does reconciliation work, and how would those multiple stimulus checks work? This is what's going on. The President of the United States will write the bill, and when he gets the President is writing the bill, and that when he gets the bill to the Senate, that is when those Democrats would put in the monthly stimulus checks. Those monthly stimulus checks would be put in a way in which the President would have to agree to. The detail is the following. The monthly stimulus checks would be done by reconciliation when the bill lands in the Senate. The Senate vote-a-rama would amend the bill. If you recall, reconciliation starts in the House, then goes to the Senate, and then when the bill's in the Senate, the senators make the modifications, the amendments. It's at that time, during the reconciliation vote-a-rama over 2 days, those Democrats would put those monthly stimulus checks in there. But here is an interesting bit that happened over the weekend. What happened over the weekend was there was a series of interviews, and those series of interviews came from this individual, and also came from others like one of the top Republicans in the Senate, in the Congress, calling for what everyone was surprised with was an offer of compromise. More about that will be coming up in a second. But let's listen in to a new video from the White House in which the President of the United States talks about the incredible jobs numbers on Friday. Clearly, he was surprised by the jobs numbers, and he reacted to the news. Let's listen to what the President had to say about those jobs numbers on Friday.
Weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Well, good morning. This morning we've learned that our economy created 900,000 jobs in March. It means the first 2 months of our administration has seen more new jobs created than the first 2 months in any administration in history. But we still have a long way to go to get our economy back on track after the worst economic and job crisis in nearly a century. But my message to the American people is this: help is here, opportunity is coming, and at long last there's hope for so many families. Credit for this progress belongs not to me but to the American people. Hard-working women and men who have struggled through this pandemic, never given up, and are determined to get the country back on track, as well as their families. But I think it's also a reflection of two things we're doing here. First, the new economic strategy we've launched, one focused on building from the bottom up and the middle out, and one that puts government on the side of working people.
Here's what you need to know about that message, is that over the next few days, all the other items of the third stimulus package are about to go live, and this channel will focus on ensuring that you get that money. Those items of the third stimulus package about to go live are the following. Rent is about to go live in your city, county, and state under the third stimulus package. Food, homeowners assistance, which includes utilities and other homeowners repairs. SBA, with the shuttered venue grant, which is not just for venues. The EIDL grant. The EIDL loan increase just went live, and the PPP grant got an extension by executive order on Friday. Also going live is a series of refunds. IRS announced on Friday that it is issuing a refund. How does that work? Let me explain. That refund check works the following way. If you filed a 2020 tax return and paid taxes on your first $10,200 of unemployment that you made last year, you will be entitled to a refund. That refund will be sent to you automatically by IRS in the month of May. If you have not filed a tax return, this is what you need to know. First, if you did not file a tax return but did not take out for unemployment benefits in 2020, you can go ahead and file that tax return and make sure that you don't pay taxes on the first $10,200. But if you have not filed your tax return and did withdraw for unemployment when claiming your unemployment, when asking for your unemployment each week, this is what you need to know. Don't file your tax return yet because there's advisory coming from IRS explaining how to recoup that accounting issue on your tax return. Remember, the tax return is not due now. It has been extended for 1 month because of the issue with Treasury. Also, new advisory is set to be announced as well from the IRS, which includes the children. If you have a child that is 17 and newborn and you're worried that the IRS doesn't know the child exists and you want to ensure that you get that money, then Treasury is going to be issuing an advisory for that over the next few days. That is the child tax credit. $3,600 for children 5 to newborn, pay $300 a month. Or $3,000 for children 17 to 6, pay $250 starting the month of July. All that big money is about to hit in the next few days. There's a lot of money in hazard pay, including the $1,700 if you're a college student. Reach out to your financial aid advisor for that. And also the hazard pay, the earned income tax credit 1502. A lot of these details are about to go live, and in the next few weeks and days, and starting certainly even today, this channel is going to ensure that you try to get this money as quickly as possible. It's important to understand why, because this money is first come, first serve. When this money goes live across the country and is available in different cities and states across the country, it's important to understand that it's a first come, first serve money. And if you do not grab it, the money will likely not be offered in another round of stimulus packages. When we're talking about rent and utilities and those type of items like mortgage assistance, it's likely the eviction moratorium extended by executive order last week to late September will not be extended one more time. This is the final run when we're talking about rent assistance. Stimulus checks is a different issue. And that's why it's important to get that rent and food and utilities right now. If you need assistance, here's a little bit about it from the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Early Mornings LA. Thank you for joining me. It's Monday morning. I hope you had a wonderful Easter weekend, and I hope you're back into the mix. You don't want to miss anything across the board this week because, boy, there's a lot of breaking, developing details this week, including forced stimulus. You don't want to miss anything that's happening across the board. So make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video. It's birthday month on this channel. As this channel approaches 1 year old, let's try to get to 400,000 subscribers. Give a subscribe to this video, and subscribe to this channel, and become part of the family to get to the finish line. Later in this video, I'll explain to you the push of the purple power and why the push is needed right now for forced stimulus. Also, like this video. It really helps in the algorithm ranking. Let's do 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 likes. And if you're not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and also in the pinned comments. And if you see me in the live chat, say hi. Say hi. Let me go over what's going on. What's going on is that today the President of the United States will start to prepare to unveil his forced stimulus package. And that forced stimulus package will not have reoccurring stimulus checks in it. But when it lands in the Senate, they'll put it in there by Senate amendment. Over the weekend, there was a lot of breaking, developing details, and among them was an exchange between this man and a top Republican. What happened? Let me go over all the details for you in a second. But here's what the president said late last week about the fourth stimulus package. Let's listen in.
Judge, Marty Walsh, and Gina Raimondo. And I think I want to thank them in advance for the role they're going to play with this added assignment I'm asking them to take on. And we'll be discussing that today and among other things. And one of those other things, our administration, is a commitment to Buy American, the plan we're putting forward, to make sure that when the government is spending taxpayers' money, that they're spending it on American-made goods, American corporations, and American employees. Today, I'm directing every member of the cabinet, I mean this sincerely, everyone, to take a hard look at their agency spending and make sure it follows my Buy American standard, which we set out in January. I'm going to ask you all to report back to me at the next cabinet meeting, and now we've got a lot of business to do and get done. I thank the press for being here, but talk to you all later. Thank you.
Also making news at the same time was a surprising Republican counteroffer. What was that Republican counteroffer, and who did it come from, and what was at issue? I'm going to go over all those details in just a second. First, understand the individuals at play. It's this person and this person. First, let's start with the second one. His name is Roy Blunt. He is one of the top individuals in the Senate. He's a Republican. And in an interview on Sunday, he said, we can do this bill with Republican support, but we have to make some changes. He said in his interview, I think that's an easy win for the White House if they would take the win, which is make this an infrastructure bill, which is about 20%. Even if you stretch the definition of infrastructure some, it's about 20% of the $2.5 trillion bill, what we're talking about spending, said Blunt in the interview. If we go back and we look at all the roads and bridges and ports and airports and maybe go even underground water systems and broadband, you'd still be talking about less than 30% of this entire package, says Blount to News on Sunday. I think 30% is about $615 billion or so. I think you can do that, and with some innovative things like looking and seeing how we can deal with the electric vehicles and use of the highway system, what we can do with this public-private partnership. That's what Blount said. On Friday, Mitch McConnell said, I'm going to fight every step of the way because I think this is the wrong prescription for America. But meantime, right after Blount spoke, also Brian Deasy, who's director of the National Economic Council for Joseph Biden, your president, said the following in the same broadcast. Let's also think about long term, whether those investments that we can make will really drive not just job growth, but also better job growth. Not just job growth in the short term, but in the growth in the long term by investing in our infrastructure. That's what DC said, this individual. DC you may have recognized because he appeared in a video released at the end of the week, right before this weekend, in which he was asked by an individual to explain what type of jobs are in this plan. Now, in this video released from the White House, I want you to watch DC's reaction, but more importantly, watch the question. The question is asked by an elderly male, who says, basically, what type of job do you have for me? The elderly male asks the question, and DC, who's clearly much younger, says, I have some jobs for you to work on the side of the highway, laying some pipe. What do you think about the question and the answer? Let's listen into what DC had to say.
This plan will create jobs all around the country, putting people to work building things, roads, bridges, highways, constructing new housing, replacing lead pipes to ensure clean water for all Americans. It'll put people to work innovating in R&D and labs around the country, helping to create new discoveries in clean energy jobs of the future. And it will also help increase the pay and the dignity of the workers who provide care in our economy, caring for the elderly and the disabled.
How does this job...
That was his response to this question.
What kind of jobs does the plan actually create?
This plan will create jobs all around the country.
What kind of jobs does the plan actually create?
And this man asked the question, and to which DC said, we have jobs working on the side of the highway. Interesting response. Here's what you need to know when addressing the situation. While the Republicans have offered a compromise might actually work against you. Why? Let me explain the following. The only real big hope for those reoccurring stimulus checks is when the bill goes by reconciliation. The reconciliation process sends the bill to the Senate, and when this bill's in the Senate, then that 2-day vote-a-rama, is when they make amendments to the bill. That's when the 21 of 50 Democrats want to make the amendment to the bill to put in the monthly reoccurring stimulus checks. Well, if this bill goes by bipartisanship, if Republicans already said we're not going to do it, the hopes for those reoccurring stimulus checks start to turn to the negative. This is what you want to know. Viewers of this channel obviously understand that every month that the bill takes longer to get passed into law, they miss a stimulus check for that month. But the bigger thing that you want to know is that ultimately, you want this bill in the Senate as soon as possible. Why? Because the Democrats know that there's 8 million jobs missing now. Every month that passes, more jobs are restored. And if you wait too long, the jobs may be restored by the time the senators have the bill. The numbers are the following. If 2 million jobs are restored per month, that's August. You don't want this bill in the Senate in August. You want it done way before then. But if 1 million jobs are restored per month, then we're fine. That's not until December. So it's important to understand as you go into the new day that we really don't know where these job numbers are going to land over the next few weeks. The President of the United States also addressed the issue when addressing the American people about how quickly we need the stimulus to go out. Let's listen in about what he said about forced stimulus over the weekend.
My plan. Change it and offer alternatives if they think that's what they have to do. But Congress should act. Likewise, on the virus, our program there too can be undone. As fast as we're moving, more adults remain to be vaccinated in April, May, and June than have already been vaccinated in February and March. We are not even halfway done yet. Too many Americans are acting as if this fight is over. It is not. I've told people that if my administration did the hard work of getting shots to all Americans in the next few months, and if the American people continued to do their part, mask up, practice social distancing, we could have a more normal July 4th. But this is still April, not July. We aren't there yet. And so cases are going up again. The virus is spreading more rapidly in many places. Deaths are going up in some states. So I ask, I plead with you, don't give back the progress we've all fought so hard to achieve.
The messaging was mixed as well in the last few days from Dr. Walensky. On one day, she was nearly in tears when I reported her on this channel. On that day, she was nearly in tears when she said that we are not adhering to standards to watch the virus. But then by the end of the week, she said, you're free to travel. If you're vaccinated, there's no more risk. Let's listen to her most recent message about the virus.
Not important for us to carefully follow. Rather, it means that we are still working to understand the variant, gather data on it, and determine its impact on medical therapies, disease severity, and transmissibility. As we are better able to characterize the variant, its classification may change based on those findings. In the case of B1526, the one most recently found frequently in New York, we continue to assess its prevalence regionally and nationally, its transmissibility, and to conduct studies to understand how its mutations, for example, its E484K substitution, impact therapeutic and antibody responses. Until those assessments are complete, it will remain a carefully followed variant of interest.
This is among the interests and risks that Wall Street has yet to assess. When determining recurring stimulus checks, the biggest risk for the recurring stimulus checks is if Wall Street sees a boom too quickly, or if the stock market, the bond market surges too abruptly based upon certain economic factors. But as Dr. Walensky says, we're certainly not out of the edge across the board yet. We have a lot more to deal with. And then ultimately, what are we dealing with this week? More deposits of stimulus checks. What's important to understand is that Wave 2 and Wave 3 mail checks are still landing. Those March 26 mail checks will still land today, so watch that mailbox. The April 2nd to April 5th checks will be landing today as well. And the April 9th checks are on their way. Meantime, if you are some of the smaller banks like the Chime or Cash Apps, your deposit of that third stimulus check could land today. For the rest of you, it's on Wednesday. We'll stay on top of this as a family, but together, let's make sure that we get the other money of third stimulus. It's important to know that while we remain on focus for fourth stimulus, there's a couple things we need to do. First, take this video and share it on social media and tag your Democratic senators and say, get the bill done, the fourth stimulus package, get it done. You want them to get this bill done as quickly as possible. May, June, get it done right now. You don't want them to wait around because if the economic numbers get too good, they may pull back and not want to do this bill in July or August. Also, every month you get it done faster, that's another stimulus check for you. So take this video, hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. Tag elected officials, let's get it trending. Next, it's important to understand that third stimulus is about to go live. So stay with me. There's a lot of money for you to get. That rent, that utilities, that food, that internet, that EIDL, the SBA money, it is first come, first serve. Because all the indicators seem to suggest they may not be around again in the next stimulus package, some of these items. You don't want to wait because of Purple Hawk, you pounce hawk, hawk, as soon as it goes live. With that, thank you for joining me on a big early mornings broadcast. I'm so excited for the new day. As we enter the new day, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Always stay positive, always stay focused, and keep on smiling. There's a lot still happening, and there's a lot to get under third stimulus before we get to fourth stimulus. But with that, I'll see you at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't miss EIDL and FPUC Retro currently on the channel. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay LA for more.